Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this ADF video series, this is the second video of the series, and in this series, in this video we'll basically talk about how we can create a ADF resource in the Azure, and what all components, what are basic components we have in our ADF. Okay, so before proceeding further, I'm assuming that you guys have an Azure subscription. If not, just create a free account uh, with the help of azure.microsoft.com/free URL, okay, where you can create a free subscription. You'll get a free subscription of Azure, and this subscription will be for 30 days if I remember properly, in which you'll get some $200 credit to use these services. Okay, so so based on the services, the dollar value will be decreasing. So, but for 30 days, obviously these $200 will be free for you. So you can use that, and once you are done creating a subscription or creating a free account on the Azure, the second prerequisite is to create a resource group. So let me switch to my Azure account. Okay, not this one, sorry. Yeah, so this is my home page of Azure. Okay, so the first prerequisite is to create a resource group. Okay, so why we need a resource group? Because to create any resource, first of all we need a resource group which is like a container, okay, in which we will be grouping our resources. So resource group is a logical container in which we can keep our resources. Okay, we can have as many as resource group as we want, and we can have multiple ADFs in a single resource group as well. Okay, so it's up to you. Okay, so first of all, what I'll be doing, I'll be creating a container which is called resource group. And then inside this resource group, I will be creating a data factory. Okay, you can create multiple data factory if you want, right? But for this demo, for this video, I'll be creating a resource group and then a data factory. So to create a resource group, you can click on this resource group. Okay, here you will get this option, create a resource group. Click on this, and then you need to just enter the name, like my resource group for learning, let's say. Okay, review and create, and simply hit create button. That's it. So first it will validate. If validations will be passed, then it will create the resource group. Now you can click on go to resource group, or either you can click here directly. So it will redirect you to the resource group page. This is the home page of resource group. Now inside this resource group, you can create ADF, data factory. Okay, so to create a data factory, you can click on create. You can search the service, because data factory is again a service in the portal. So click on data factory. Okay, and you'll get an option to create a data factory. Click on create. You need to enter the name. Let's say my data factory for learning. Okay, and it will also ask you to configure the git, but for this video, let's not configure the git and everything as of now. We'll proceed like this, because git is basically a used to store your code and all, right? So we don't want to store as of now. We just wanted to understand the concept right now, and later on when we will create the build and release pipelines and other things with the help of Azure, maybe we can use that git. Okay, but for the timing, just see how I'm creating a data factory and try to follow the same step. Now click on review and create. It will review, it will check all the validations, and if the validation pass, it will give you an option to create. Once you hit create button, it will take a second, maybe a few seconds to create that, to deploy that resource. Once the resource is deployed, it will be reflected inside the resource group. Okay, so it's saying deployment is in progress. So will take few minutes. Okay, so it is done now. Let's go to home. You can click on see this data factory, or you can click on resource group, and inside resource group you can see this data factory. Just click on this. Either way, you will need to redirect to this page only. Now to start the data factory, you can click on this link. It will navigate you to the data factory page, and in the Azure data factory you will see 4 pages. The first is the home page, second is the author page. So this author page is actually a development page, okay, where you will be actually doing all the development. The third one is monitor, where you will be monitoring your pipelines, your workflows, your results, tasks, everything, right? And the last one is manage, where you will be managing your linked services. So what is linked services? What is trigger? What is pipeline? What is data set? What is data flow? What is pipeline? These all are the components of the ADF. So we'll be talking mostly about these components. Okay. So I'll just try to give you a walkthrough, like what is pipeline and what is the activities. What is what is actually activity, okay, in the pipeline. So to create a pipeline, if you talk about the pipeline, the definition of pipeline is like a pipeline is a logical grouping of activities, okay. So let me create a pipeline, new pipeline. Okay, minimize it now, and then you will see these are the different activities we can create in the pipeline, okay, like move and transform, Azure Data Explorer, Azure Functions, and this will have multiple things inside it, okay. Or you can or you can expand all these activities, okay. So let's say I wanted to create a copy data, and after that I'll be creating a Jupyter notebook, okay. And once these all will be done, maybe I'll create a function, okay, and my data flow will be from this copy data to notebook, and then notebook to maybe your data function, right? So this is how my flow will look like, okay. So this is a pipeline, basically a simple pipeline, I will say. And this pipeline contains multiple activities, and that's what definition says, right? A pipeline is a logical grouping of activities, okay. And here these all parts are nothing but the activities, okay. So activity represent an action to for the processing, that's it. For example, you copy an activity, so this activity, right? So it will copy from one source to destination, right? It will copy the data from source to destination. Maybe let's say there is a source folder and there is a destination folder, right? So you wanted to copy the source folder data to the destination folder, you can do it. Then you can perform some transformation, you can do some logics and other operations, right? So you can use these kind of activities to perform those things. Now uh, okay, so this is the first two important, basically the concept in the ADF, okay, I will say. And the third concept in the phone that is also important is like let me expand it, sorry, is the data set. Okay, so what is data set? So data set is your your source data or your destination data, right? Your input data or the output data, that is called the data set. What data you will be using. So if you see here in the copy data, I'm just giving you an example high level. We will be obviously covering it in the further upcoming videos, but in this video just I'm trying to highlight you. So if you see here in the source, we need some data sources, right? It says source data set. It will be like your input, and the sink will be like your sink database, like your output, okay. So in both the cases you will be selecting some data set. So data set is nothing uh, but a path from source to destination, okay. So it could be your input data set, or it could be your output data set, okay. And later on again that output data set can be input for this notebook, and then again the output of notebook can be an input of Azure function. So this is how things will go into the pipeline. Now let's talk about the last and the fourth concept in the Azure data factory. So this is called trigger. Okay, so the triggers are basically used to run the pipeline, right? Based on some schedules or something, right? So basically it will trigger your pipeline whenever you want. Let's say you want your pipeline to run every 1 hour, right? So you can schedule the service, okay, and it will behave based on the trigger you have applied, right? So let's say you want every 1 hour your pipeline will run, so it will run 24 hours 24 times in a day, right? So this is how you can these are the things you can achieve with the trigger. Now the last and major component is the linked service. Okay, so what is linked service? So linked service is like a connection string. Okay, so let's say this ADF wants to connect with some other resources. Let's say ADLS, Azure Data Lake. Let's say Blob, right? So these are all different services in the Azure, right? So if you want to connect to some other service, you need to create a connection string between them, and that connection string is known as the linked service. Okay, by which you can use that service. Okay, so this is the fifth and the major component of the ADF. So these are all high level overviews. Obviously we will go in depth and we will create all these components, we'll use it. Okay, let me quickly move the slide. So these are the components which we talked about, like pipeline, activity, tasers, link services, and the trigger. And that's it for this video. I think you'll get some high level understanding of what is pipeline, what is activity, what is data sets, okay, what is linked services, what is trigger, right? So we'll talk all these things in depth in my upcoming videos. Okay, so thank you, thanks a lot.